Hey, what's going on? In this video, we're going to talk about something interesting. The 5 stupid things intelligent people do. The 5 stupid things we conscious creatives tend to do that keep us from the success we deserve, keep us from the goals and the results that we want. All right, my name is Brian Ogilvy. I'm the author of a book called How to Conquer Yourself, Discipline and Willpower for the Conscious Creative Thinker. And I stumbled upon another short booklet the other day. It's called The Triumph of the Stupid: How Your Intelligence and Creativity Are Keeping You from the Online Success You Deserve by Mark Widawer. Technically, it's about internet marketing, how to build a successful publication thing online, but it's very practical and it could be generalized to encompass a lot more. So let's get right into it. Quick note, a lot of this applies to me as well. There's nothing wrong with recognizing your own shortcomings. So as you follow along, make sure you don't project this onto anyone else you know. Like, apply it to yourself. All right, so forward. Oh, right, the quote. When you're a theorist, the two most addictive states to be in are excited and confused. Lawrence Krauss he's a theoretical physicist. Stupid thing number one is trying to be everything to everybody. Smart people tend to be very creative, and this seems to be the root of the problem. What I mean is that we tend to use our creativity in ways that create unnecessary challenges for ourselves. Specifically, rather than solving one particular issue, we're more apt to aim at solving large-scale, generalized concerns. Like, think of the field of medicine, for example. It turns out cardiologists who hone in on one demographic, like postmenopausal women, for instance, they tend to have a lot more success than general practitioners. If you had a problem with acne, who would you go see? Most likely a dermatologist, not a general doctor. But if you're a creative, intelligent type, you'll tend to want to have broad knowledge and expertise. You want that genius solution that'll solve everything for everybody. If you're a creative, intelligent type, you'll be more likely to write the book, The Universal Science to Everlasting Health, rather than 5 Simple Steps to Lose 25 Pounds in 25 Days. And this is a recipe for failure because not everyone thinks as abundantly and as deeply as you do. Right? People generally aren't concerned with universal keys, abundant abstract principles, or anything else along those lines. They're concerned with getting problems solved. So if you don't get specific with a solution, you end up just getting bypassed. They'll say, oh, universal science, huh? I'll get back to that when I have time. In fact, being too general, it takes away from your credibility. Like, people doubt it when someone comes off as knowing everything. Take Mark Widawer, for instance. His book is about the 5 stupid things intelligent people do when trying to succeed online. I'm the one who extracted it to a more general level. It's a problem intelligent people have because we tend to look at the root of things. So the solution? Find your circle. Stop being so much of a generalist and find a specific problem and hone in on a specific crowd and then speak just to that. All right. Stupid thing number 2 also. Smart people like to make things more complicated than they need to be. It turns us on for some reason. The more complex something is, the more mental work it takes to understand it, which is enjoyable if you're intelligent, but the less applicable and action-oriented it becomes, which is bad for success. This is especially true if you're in a teaching position of some sort because people won't respond to you. All right? So the solution, again, grossly oversimplify, all right? Keep it simple, intelligent. Break things down to their most essential parts. Stop using your intellect to avoid taking action. Moving on. Stupid thing number 3 is doing too many things at once. Smart people love multitasking, all right? They love to keep their plate spinning with several things because they love the entertainment, the excitement, and the stimulation it provides. It's not just because of the false notion that it makes us more productive, but because we think we're smart enough, we assume we can handle it. Multitasking actually wastes energy and it leaves things incomplete. And if you see any of my work on productivity or concentration, you'll find this like elaborated on. Specifically, smart people are always jumping from one project to another. Right? Once we have something conceptually laid down and the only thing left to do is to actually work on it, we don't. Instead, we re-exercise our creative, intelligent muscles and try to do something entirely different because it gets us excited. So the solution here is to do one thing at a time. Discipline yourself and get focused on taking action. And for more about productivity, see some of my videos and podcasts on that subject. Next, stupid thing number 4 is always doing something differently. Besides always starting a different project or multitasking, smart people are also always responding differently to similar tasks or similar problems. Smart people think they're too smart for routines that don't require thinking. It feels mechanistic to them. Hence, smart people don't know the power of creating systems. They always try to think their way through problems and think their way through their work rather than create automated processes and routines for whatever might come up. They assume that every new task, every new situation requires new thinking. It's actually pretty funny, because think about it. Think about the last argument you had with your partner, everything you did yesterday, everything you did the day before that. Like, how much of that was really new? As much as we hate to admit it, we're all creatures of habit, and pretty much everything we do can be reduced down to a ritual or a routine that requires almost no thinking at all. But smart people don't see it like that. They feel like if they don't have to figure something out, then something is wrong. And this was me for a long time. Like, I used to think if I saw something step by step in a book or in a classroom, for instance, I felt like it was an insult to my intelligence. And you'll notice also that when smart people run businesses or organizations, they're always firefighting. They're always stuck figuring out the day-to-day level issues that get stressed out, and they're like the dramatic hero because they don't create systems to handle problems. They treat each new one like a new jigsaw puzzle rather than looking for the problem. And this is also why they have problems delegating work. They assume that only they're smart enough to do X, Y, and Z, so they never think of the simple steps they could do to even get a quote-unquote stupid person to do it. So the solution here is to start thinking how to. Start describing some of your daily tasks as step-by-step robotic processes, and leave the theory out of it. If you go to Expert Village or about.com, you'll see more of this. And remember, different personality types learn in different ways. It's not that they're less intelligent. So remember to describe things specifically. All right, stupid thing number 5 is thinking knowing is really doing. And this is why I got started with my website in the first place and when my book is the first place. Here's what Widawer has to say. We smart people are too smart for our own good. It's plain to see. We're so smart that we think simply knowing what to do is a reasonable substitute for having actually done the work. All right, ask yourself, how many books, courses, and video lectures do you have that you've never actually completed? It's sad. For some reason, we think that because we've purchased a book on basket weaving and that the basket weaving book is sitting on the shelf, we know how to weave baskets. All right? Or maybe we do get around to reading the book, every single last page. Does that mean you know how to weave baskets? No, of course not. You got to do the work. You need the experience. You have to feel the weaver in your hands to understand what it feels like to route the weaver up and down through the stakes. And how to finish the base and curve the weaves up to build the sides, and that special way to weave a handle that it's strong enough to lift the basket but doesn't look out of place. Again, you need the experience. You've got to come up against obstacles and find ways to deal with them in order to truly understand what it takes. This is where true knowledge comes from. In fact, in Spanish, there are 2 different words for the verb to know. The first one is conocer, which means to have knowledge of something, as you might know a phone number or some facts. The other Spanish to know is saber, which has a deeper meaning. For you to saber skiing, for example, you know how to ski. I could drop you off at the top of a lift and you ski down. When you connoisseur something, you're familiar with it. You heard about it, you read about it, etc. But when you saber something, you have the experience of that thing. You know how to do it because you actually have. So reading about skiing is very different than knowing how to ski. And maybe that's why one of the sayings of Spanish-speaking children is, Del dicho el hecho hay un gran trecho, which means, from the saying to the doing, there is a big gap. Likewise, far too many people invest in education only to leave the e-books, the books, the CDs, and the DVDs out on the shelf collecting dust. They buy a program, do nothing, and see 0 results. It's a tragedy. They'd be better off if they never invested in the program in the first place, because honestly, even the person who made the program would be better off, because real teachers want a high batting average. They want customer success stories. So if someone doesn't do well with our teaching products, it's actually a strike against us. The solution, go to your bookshelf or your hard drive right now and take off one of the smaller books. Downsize your intellectual company, for instance. Think about the reason you haven't read it yet or why you stopped, and weigh that reason against why you got the book in the first place. Is it still worth it? All right. If not, toss it. But if it is, finish the book to get some connoisseur and then go out and get some saber. Start with something small but meaningful. And moving on, lastly, number 6. I know I said 5, but bump that. This is important. Thinking they know every goddamn thing. Smart people, they're like young people. They're the ones who argue back without experience, all right? They think so well that they think they can think through an experience without actually having gone through it. All right, so think about that for a minute. It's like stupid thing number 5 to the 3rd power. So when you tell them something that doesn't fit their way of viewing the world, their immediate response is to rationalize it off as wrong. Since they're so smart, they can actually convince themselves that they're right and not even realize it. Like they honestly think they're right. It's because when someone informs them of what they're doing wrong, rather than listen to it and try to work differently, they stay trapped inside their own intelligence. In fact, honestly, smart people don't even like the idea of learning from someone less intelligent than them. It's as if it's beneath them or something like that. So I put a Facebook status up the other day that said, "The greatest barrier to learning, the all too popular phrase, I already know that." All right, don't let this be you. Solution, shut up. Realize that if you knew as much as you thought you did, you wouldn't be in the position that you're in now, and that's okay. All right. When someone's speaking to you, respond by paraphrasing first. Say, if I understand what you're saying, XYZ. Most people never even get affirmed like this, by the way, so they'll love you for it. In fact, spend a month or so not even giving your opinion unless somebody asks you for it. Also, when someone breaks something down to you, especially if it's about like psychology or thinking, think about how it applies to you, not to whoever they're talking about or to somebody else that you know. All right, so thanks for checking this out. Now get out there and stop being so intelligent. Again, my name is Brian Ogilvy, and I'm the author of the book, How to Conquer Yourself. Here's my email if you need it, brian@dotheknowledge.com. My phone number, I got an office line now, 718-577-1344. Also, my main website for free chapters from the book, podcast, more vids is dotheknowledge.com. Again, I give away 2 free chapters of the book. That way you can get a sense of my teaching style, get a sense of my writing style, etc. before you invest. When you get to the site, you'll see it on the right side of the blog. It's pretty obvious. All right. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Subscribe and then tell me which point resonated the most. And let me know if I left anything out. Hope this helps and take care.